Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Walter Reed Theater. I know people are still coming in and we do have some seats up front here, so I'll try and get everybody squared away so that we can begin. My name is Richard Pena. I'm the program director of the Film Society of Lincoln Center, and on behalf of the Film Society and all our sponsors and its board of directors, I'd like to welcome you all. This is just always a great occasion for us. Back in 2001, Giorgio Gozzetti, who at the time was working for Cinecittà, I think back then it was called Film Italia, it always changes its name, suggested that why don't we try doing a series of contemporary Italian films. We had already done some wonderful retrospective series of directors and older works. So we thought, yeah, this sounds like something we try. And I asked as long as they would commit to supporting us for 3 years in this endeavor so that we could create an audience for it. And here we are 12 years later. And indeed, it's become certainly one of the highlights of the Walter Reed calendar every year. I've been really proud that this series has really accompanied the reemergence, the kind of renaissance of Italian cinema with wonderful new actors, terrific new directors, and I think a real new spirit that motivates that cinema. And you'll see a lot of that on display in the works that we have here over the next 7 days. In addition to all the films that you'll see here in the Walter Reed that are part of our open road selection, I do want to point out two kind of complementary events. The first is that across the street in our new Eleanor Bunin Monroe Film Center, we have a one-week run of Corpo Celeste, a wonderful first film by Alice Rohrwacher, which was featured in the New York Film Festival last year and is now having a one-week run at our theater. It's really an excellent film. I recommend it very highly, and if you can, in between your coming to the films here, make it over there. That would be great. You won't be disappointed. It's a wonderful work. The second is that this year is the 50th anniversary of the New York Film Festival, and all year long we've been doing a kind of run-up to this fall's festival by each week showing another film from the festival from another year. And this year it worked out very nicely that 1995, the year that we're celebrating this week, is also the year that we had the honor of premiering L'America by Gianni Amelio. So we'll be showing that this Tuesday night here. Again, just an absolutely wonderful film, so a great compliment to the series. Over the next 7 days, you'll not only get to see some wonderful films, but also have a chance to hear from the people responsible for those films. And here to introduce that delegation with some words of welcome himself, please welcome my good friend and my partner in this endeavor from the very beginning, and indeed in all our Italian projects here at the Walter Reed Theater. Please welcome Antonio Monda.
Thank you and welcome. 12 years. This, I think, makes us an institution. And I would like to celebrate, first of all, the unsung heroes of Open Roads, starting from the New York staff. I would like to celebrate Laura Frigerio, Elena D'Amelio, Valentina Rosti, and Raffaello Vignoli. Thank you very much for what you do. And then I would like to start calling on the stage the delegation, starting from Monique Catalino and Griselda Guerrasio from Cinecittà. And of course, I would like to thank the president of Cinecittà Luce, Roberto Ciccutto. And I know that here, and I want to thank in person, there is also Salvo Anastase from the ministry. Thank you, Salvo. So, Marina Spada, director of Il Mio Domani. Daniele Vicari, director of Diaz, which will screen tonight at 9 o'clock. Andrea Segre, Io sono lì. Davide Manuli, La leggenda di Kaspar Hauser. We have two sets of brothers. One is landing, I think, tonight, the De Serio brothers, but here with us we have already Antonio and Marco Manetti, L'arrivo di Wang. On the same plane with the De Serio brothers, Paolo Cortellesi is coming, and Pippo Mezzapesa will join us in a couple of days. Francesca Cuttica, actress from L'Arrivo di Wang. Ivan Cotroneo, director of La Kryptonite nella borsa. An old friend of Open Roads, Francesco Bruni, director of Scialla. And of course, my dear friend Ferzan Özpetek, director of Tonight Film. Welcome, Ferzan.
Ferzan, would you say a few words before? Okay.
Buonasera, thank you for coming. And we see after the movie and we can speak about the movie. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So as you can see, we have an extraordinary delegation. It'll be wonderful to hear them talk about their films and talk about filmmaking in Italy now. So if you can, please, of course, stay today, but come back and see the other films this weekend and throughout the week. And once again, thanks to all the people who make this series possible, the staff of the Film Society, and I want to offer my personal thanks to my friends at Cinecittà Luce, who really are so extraordinary in Rome and always make this series such a pleasure to work on. Thank you.
Signore e signori, ladies and gentlemen, Ferzan Özpetek. Bentornato ad Open Roads.
Ben trovato. Oh, ciao. Come va? Tutto bene? Grazie.
I will make a couple of questions, and of course I would be happy, and I'm sure Ferzan will be happy to take questions from the audience. The first question is, why don't you tell us where this film comes from? Why a ghost story in Rome today?
Sì. Intanto il desiderio di avere i fantasmi in casa, quello mi piacerebbe moltissimo.
First and foremost, the idea of having ghosts at home, I would love it if I could have them.
E poi questo è avvenuto veramente a un mio amico, mi ha raccontato che era venuto a abitare vicino a casa nostra e una mattina mi ha chiamato e dice: ieri sera mentre guardavo la televisione c'era una signora che mi guardava vestito tutto di nero in un modo strano. Io ho detto, dico, ma non ti ha spaventato? Dice, no, era una così. Dice, io ho pensato, dico, ma è impazzito, sta succedendo qualcosa di grave. Poi nei giorni ci raccontava sempre che vedeva delle persone in casa, vedeva queste due signore vestite in lungo, così, e noi abbiamo pensato, tutti gli amici che ci chiamavamo, dicendo che non stava bene, era molto solo.
Well, actually, the story came to me through a friend who ended up moving near us, and one day he called and said, last night while I was watching TV, in the dark, I suddenly looked up and I noticed a woman all dressed in black looking at me. And I asked, well, were you frightened? He said, no. I thought maybe he's a little bit crazy, maybe there's something wrong with him. But over the next few days, he kept talking about seeing more people. He saw two ladies in evening gowns. And, among the friends, we were starting to wonder whether there might be something wrong with him.
E poi abbiamo sentito che nella seconda guerra mondiale c'erano mamma e figlia che si erano buttati dalla finestra, si erano suicidati sotto bombardamenti perché quel palazzo era bombardato nella seconda guerra mondiale.
And then instead we came to learn that in that same house, a mother and daughter had thrown themselves to their death from the balcony when the bombing was taking place. It was a building that had been badly hit.
Vabbè, questo non so quanto ci sia, insomma, di credibile o non credibile, ma a me l'idea di, sinceramente, le persone che non ci sono più mi piacerebbe vederli, avere un contatto, questo mi piacerebbe moltissimo.
And I don't know, how believable or unbelievable but this might be, but I really do like the idea of our departed being near us and having some kind of contact with them.
Ferzan, while preparing this film, did you look at Fantasmi a Roma by Antonio Pietrangeli?
Non solo quello, ma ho visto tantissimi film sui fantasmi. Quello di Pietrangeli era molto interessante, mi piaceva molto. Ho visto The Others, ho visto Sesto Senso, poi abbiamo visto anche dei film che avevo paura a guardarli, quindi un po' di tutto.
The question was, did you see the film when you're preparing for this film,
Fantasmi a Roma, Ghosts in
Ghosts
Rome.
in Rome, and by Pietrangeli? And he said, yes, I saw this, but I also saw many other films about ghosts, including The Others, The Sixth Sense, some that were too scary for me to look at.
Why don't we start taking questions from the audience? Questions? Yes. A little bit louder, please. I'm sorry.
We can't hear you. If I understood correctly, the question was, did anyone know that there are these people hidden in the house? You mean in reality or in the film? Or in the film.
Cioè, nel presente o nel passato?
In the present or in the past?
I think she meant did anyone in the film know that there were ghosts in the house besides that guy?
Ah no, no, sentono solo. Le persone sentono solo, non li vedono, sì.
No, they only hear them, but they don't see them.
La ragazza, per esempio, l'aveva sentito, cioè questo è quello che ci siamo detti tra di noi di partenza.
Come mai lui è l'unico che riesce a vederli?
E io penso che lui sia uno molto
Sorry, the question is why is the only one who is able to see them? Scusami.
Io penso che lui sia uno molto puro, molto anche portato a poterli vedere. Questo è, non tutti vedono, almeno di quelle che ho sentito in giro. Questo nostro amico, per esempio, li vedeva, parlava tranquillamente a noi. Io sono sempre curioso. Io pensate che durante le riprese del film, di notte, quando andavo in bagno così, mi guardavo intorno e dicevo, Madonna, magari se vedessi qualcuno così, invece niente.
Well, I think that the main character was able to see them just because that reflects the pure state in which he was. I mean, and he was also sort of had more of a propensity to see them in that way. And the same in the case of the friend that I was telling you about, that he would tell us that he was very calm with the fact, and he would tell us about it. But while I was shooting, I remember at home at night going into the bathroom and the lights out, sort of hoping that I would see something, and never anything.
Yes, here, second row.
Italia.
Anche in Italia, sì.
Sono molto curiosa della compagnia teatrale Apollonio. È una compagnia reale, esistita davvero, e la storia attorno a questa compagnia è in realtà è un'immaginazione cinematografica?
The question is, I'm very curious about this theatrical troupe, this Apollonia. Is it based on a true story, or is it just like an image that came to you?
No, no, tutto immaginato, tutto finzione. But the name of the Apollonio, it's the wine marca, come si dice?
It's credited at the end,
Yes.
actually. Ci sono-
Yes, it's a wine my friends have in Lecce. When we are writing with Federica asked me which name we can put in this company, the name of this guy. I said Apollonio. She said me, it's a very good name. Where you will find this? It was I said, look this bottle with Apollonio.
Yes. The question is about the song, la
Sì,
canzone che si
in
sente
the
poi.
final. It's my friend. She's very famous in Turkey and in Sezen Aksu. She have every time in my movies and she make this song for this movie. I like very much. Yes, thank you.
Yes, second row, yes.
All your actors in the movies are similar. They come from different movies of yours. How do you choose who's going to be in your new movies?
Li scelgo, c'è un inglese molto, no? E li scelgo secondo me se sono giusti o no per la parte, non faccio mai provini. E ci sono spesso quelli che già, perché il fare un film con l'attore che già conosci è una cosa di grande confidenza, quindi diventa molto facile, però non ho mai fatto, praticamente solo una volta ho fatto un provino per un altro film, per un ruolo che all'ultimo minuto è cambiato, ma in genere a sensazione, cioè li chiedo incontro l'attore e faccio un sacco di domande e poi ho un'idea se è giusto o no per la parte.
Actually, I don't do auditions for films. I often use actors that I've worked with before. There's a kind of a trust then that we built, and that makes it much easier to work with them. I've only once done an audition. That was when I had to do sort of a last-minute change in the selection of a role. But otherwise, I sort of just basically go on a gut sense. I ask a bunch of questions, and depending upon the way that the actor might answer, I know if they're right for the part.
We have time for 2 questions. Yes, 1 and 2.
If there's any particular reason behind the collection that it does the albums?
The question is about the collection of le figurine of the album. Is there any particular reason?
Durante la lettura del copione Elio comprava queste figurine, io ero curioso, dicevo ma che è così? Da lì è partita l'idea di mettere le figurine. Poi sai benissimo che in Italia c'è stata una situazione molto di divisione, no? E questo era l'album del 150° anno dell'Italia, dell'Unione dell'Italia, dell'Unità d'Italia. Insomma, mi divertiva l'idea di mettere quest'album così delle figurine dell'Unità d'Italia.
While we were preparing the script, Elio used to buy these kinds of little sticker albums, and I enjoyed the idea. It sort of made me curious to see what he was doing. And you might know of the fact that last year, when Italy was celebrating the 150th anniversary of Italian unity, there was a lot of controversy over it. So the album that you see in this film instead is an album celebrating the 150th anniversary of Italy with all the little figures. So that was my little provocation.
Anche io uso adesso fare veramente, no, è molto, sembra una cavolata, però è molto divertente.
And I've started doing this myself. It might sound kind of dumb, but it's actually a lot of fun.
Final question, please.
Sì.
I should repeat this.
The question is, Livia Morosini sort of gets the last word in a certain sense in this film, but then the main character, Pietro, says, fiction, fiction, fiction. What are you driving at with these 2 last images?
Sì, perché poi la vedi realmente, sembra tutto realmente accaduto, quindi poi dici finzione, finzione, ma mi divertiva molto l'idea di cosa è reale, cosa è finzione, cosa è immaginario, cosa non è. Insomma, su questo ho giocato molto, abbiamo giocato tutto insieme con tutti gli attori, abbiamo parlato spesso di questa cosa. Il finale, per esempio, che il teatro, che poi è un teatro veramente dove hanno fatto lo spettacolo di Pirandello la prima volta lì, Teatro Valle, ma mi divertiva molto l'idea di anche mettere in discussione tutto quello che avevo raccontato in qualche modo. C'è il salone di casa di lui sul palcoscenico, quindi mette in discussione tutto il film, praticamente tutto quello che ho raccontato. Mi piace molto giocare, tante volte ho la vecchiaia, ho troppi telefonini, ho le cose, anch'io confondo, dico questo è reale e questa finzione. La mia vita per esempio è molto confusa in questo. Sì.
Che vuole manifestare tutto quello che ha bello interno.
Just to answer the first question,
Sì.
first of all, what I really wanted to sort of play with this idea. We kept talking about it. Toward the end of the film, you see that this is real, it is real, and then we throw in this idea of a fiction after having been through so much reality in sort of the last reel of the film. And I enjoy sort of toying with reality versus fiction, image versus truth. And with the actors, we sort of talked a lot about this and collaborated on what would the right ending be. And for the ending, we chose this theater, Teatro della Valle, which is the theater actually where Pirandello's plays were first produced. And by bringing it back to the theater like that, we sort of throw everything up into question. All the various themes of the film are then brought into play once again. And in a certain sense, this is something that also happens in my own life. I don't know whether it's because I'm growing older, I don't know whether it's all the cell phones around, but I find it harder and harder to distinguish between the real and the fictive. And maybe that's just a sign of the kind of confusing life that I lead.
Sì, cos'era? Per l'altro non erano domande, credo, erano farnese.
Sì, era sul contrasto tra il personaggio di Elio, che è molto grafico e puro, il contrasto
Non so
more,
cosa
it was
dire.
more a statement than a question. It was about the contrast between Elio Germano's character and Anna Proclamer. Yes. Sì. Yes. It's the contrast between these two
Sì.
personalities, but yes.
Non capisco.
And the question is.
Non è una domanda però questo, o sì?
So you're not asking a question.
Non ho sentito, scusi. Sì? Sì.
No,
The question is about the word fiction is tied to these personalities that we see on the screen.
no, non è questo, soltanto che lì era il fatto di lei, la conclusione per me era, mi divertiva molto perché il fatto che una invecchiata sta da sola, pensava di avere tante cose nella vita, gli altri invece, l'altro gruppo che stanno insieme, sono rimasti giovani, sono uniti. Questo era il contrasto per me, cioè sembrava una cosa bruttissima, invece una cosa bellissima da una parte.
I think that the contrast in the film wasn't so much between the older woman and the younger guy. It was between the older woman, and there she was, older, and she was living alone, and thought that she had something over everyone else and that her life was superior. On the other hand, you had this group of people that had remained young and had remained together.
Infatti alla fine non dovevano ridere in quella scena, mi è venuto a me parlando con loro, ho detto quando lui racconta che li ha traditi lei, Livia Morosini, di ridere a questa cosa, perché alla fine da ridere non c'è che da ridere.
And that's why originally I wasn't going to have them laugh, but when he tells the whole story about Livia Morosini, and her betrayal of them, in the end I said, well, let's have them laugh, because what she did is really laughable.
It's time to go.
Ok, grazie.
I would like to thank you all. The next
Grazie,
film
grazie,
will be
grazie.
Diaz, 9 o'clock.
Grazie.
Thank you.